new heights as we meet a group of people who discover that tall is all, and that leaves them with a small problem.
They've got small bodies and small minds. They're all small fry and small time. They're the lowest of the low. They refuse to grow, you know, and they like it down there.
Thank you very, very much, Mrs. God bless you.
Full up.
But there are lots of places.
No, there aren't. We're full up.
Look, there are empty seats there.
No, they're reserved.
Hey, Shrimpo, where do you think you're going? I'm not a Shrimpo, I'm all right.
Don't look it.
I assure you I am, by a good 2 inches.
Well, all right. Your girlfriend can't come on.
She's not with me. Bloody Shrimpos, I hate them. Come off. I want to get home.
Oh, hello. I didn't think I'd see you again.
Someone's changed the locks.
Oh, yeah, the council did all that this morning.
My fish. I can't see any of my fish.
Oh, they took all them. They took everything. Loaded all your stuff into a big van. I said to Mrs. Thomas at the corner, you know, with the leg, I said, it must smell with all them fish. I couldn't live with a smell like that. I heave at cheese.
They've taken everything.
Still, she said there's no accounting for taste. Oh, and by the way, don't worry about the dog. It didn't suffer. One shot, Mrs. Thomas said. Mind you, you can't all rely on what
One
she
shot?
says.
What do you mean, one shot?
She once told me that Jesus was a black man. I said, don't be ridiculous. She said, well, he comes from a hot country. I said, don't tell me. I've been to St. Luke's. I've seen his photograph. Hellish. I can't stand here chatting to you all day. I've got my shopping to do. Oh, I hope you'll be all right in your new place. You'll probably be better off with other, smalls.
I'm not a small.
Mr. Pink, as I just explained, there can be no further appeal. We notified you in March of last year that you would have to be rehearsed.
I am not going with a small.
Please, since when we have written to you on 3 occasions, sending you a notice to quit, an invitation for you to appeal, a notification that your appeal had been turned down.
They all arrived in the same envelope.
Please, we have therefore been obliged to relocate you and your belongings to a flatlet south of the river.
In the ghetto?
Hardly a ghetto, Mr. Pink. The council has gone to a great deal of expense, providing special accommodation, special services for people of diminished stature. Soon we are introducing a minibus service for all you little,
You know what I mean. I'm 5'1", nearly.
Metric, Mr. Pink. Think metric. 1 meter 55 is what you should be aiming for now.
I was never small in feet and inches.
Come, Mr. Pink, we must move with the times, those of us that can.
But it just isn't fair. And last week I was all right, but today all of a sudden I'm a small. Well, how can I be one of them? I don't even like them, especially dwarfs. There won't be any dwarfs there, will there? Or midgets?
I really can't answer that, but I'm sure you'll be happy there. At least give it a try.
But I don't like smalls.
Think of the social advantages. There are far more small women than small men. And a borderline case like you will come head and shoulders above most of them. They'll probably make you captain of the basketball team.
Minister, it has been suggested that the new height regulations coming out of Europe are particularly harsh and unfeeling. What's your reaction?
Well, it simply isn't true, is it? I mean, first of all, very few people are affected by this. After all, we're talking about less than 2.5 centimeters here. It's not a lot, is it?
It's very nearly an inch.
Yes, but not quite. And I really don't think it's very healthy to keep harking back to imperial measurements. We've got to look ahead, and I feel that this standardization can do nothing but good. You see, we're no longer in the invidious position of having British smalls smaller than their European counterparts. Now the French small, the German small, the British small, and so on are all exactly the same. And this can only be in everyone's interest.
That sounds reasonable enough. John, why should the National Council for Civil Liberties object to that?
Well, we object to the whole process of categorization. This regulation means that even more small people are going to be disadvantaged. They are going to be forced into areas where there are no real amenities and no public services. The Minister knows that his government is following a sizeist policy.
I resent that. This government has an excellent record in dealing with sizeism. It is precisely to protect the interests of the small community that we have adopted a policy of separate development, separate growth, or lack of it.
Minister, what about the cases of individual hardship? Only yesterday we heard of a couple in Somerset whose elderly mother has been reclassified as small and been moved to a camp near Bodmin.
Well, I don't want to comment on individual cases, but as I understand it, the lady in question, Mrs. Thornton, is in her 90s and has shrunk. Indeed, like many elderly people, she's been shrinking for many years. So you see, this would have happened whether or not the new regulations had come into force.
すいません。私、元倉と言いますが、これは私の妻です。ヒスローからこちらへ来るように言われたんですが、実は私、デジタルライトメーターの工場を建てに来たんです。でも、何が何だかよくわからないんですけど、一体どうなってるんでしょうね。
Third floor, room 31.
I want to know what the Minister intends to do about young smalls. You're condemning them to a future without hope.
On the contrary, we're providing them with special opportunities. And you know, lots of smalls have become very successful in business, even without government aid. I'm thinking of Walter Swinburne, Willie Carson, Pat Edery.
They're all jockeys.
All right, Tiny Rowland. And you know, if young smalls don't feel inclined to make use of the facilities we're providing, they can always try to grow to an acceptable height.
Well, we must stop there. That's all we have time for. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, God. Who are you?
Oh, sorry, Squire, I didn't see you there. Well, just moved in, have you? Oh, lovely little place, isn't it? Well, I say lovely, not bad for the area. What you might call a charming pied-à-terre.
What is the meaning of this?
Pied-à-terre? Oh, it's French, isn't it? It means, foot to the earth, literally. Which is stupid when you come to think about it. Certainly here, because you're on the 14th floor. Still, that's the French for you. How can you trust the nation that invents the brassiere?
I've had enough of this. The key, if you please.
Mind you, you've got a good view from here. Nearly panoramic. There's the flats opposite. And there's the flats in Russell Road. There's the empty flats over there. And if the weather's nice, you can see the flats in Balaclava Street. So if you like flats, you're onto a winner.
Oh, please go away. I want to be alone.
Greta Garbo, Grand Hotel, MGM, 1932. All right, here's one. Was that cannon fire, or is my heart pounding?
What?
Ingrid Bergman, Casablanca, Warner Brothers, 1942. Yeah, it's a bit hard, that one. All right, here's another one for you, see. Stand still, Godfrey. It'll all be over in a minute.
Are you quite mad?
Come on, you must know that. That's the last line from My Man Godfrey, Carol Lombard, Universal, 1936.
If you don't get out of here this instant, I'll call the authorities. I'm not in the habit of engaging in banal banter with half-wits, especially half-sized half-wits.
Reclassified today, were you?
A clerical error.
Oh, they all say that. We had a dwarf brought in here last week. 3'6" he was, if that. Kept on claiming he was the chief constable of Leicestershire. Look, we said, you're a dwarf. How can you be? A clerical error, he said.
There are dwarfs here.
Yeah, lots. Mind you, they don't take up much room. Anyway, he's quite happy now. He's settled down with a nice little midget from Jerry Cottle's. Yvonne, she's called.
This is grotesque.
No, it isn't, Chief. There's nothing grotesque about it. Nothing at all. Yeah, you'll be all right here in a week or two.
I'm hardly likely to be staying here that long, am I?
Why not?
Well, look at me, man.
Yeah?
Well, look at me up here. Isn't it obvious?
Well, how many syllables?
What?
Was it a book or a film? I've got it. The Maltese Falcon.
No!
Or Zorba the Greek.
Don't be stupid. Look, I'm perfectly normal. I'm not a small.
You are now, my son.
As soon as the authorities discover their mistake, I'll be out of here. Oh, don't you worry, I'm not staying here long.
No, of course you're not.
A man of my position can't be expected to exist in these surroundings.
That's right, son.
I have friends in high places.
That's the best place to have them.
They'll be hell to pay when this gets out.
You tell them, son.
Heads will roll.
Feet won't touch the ground.
That's right. Are you taking the mickey?
What, me?
Look, who the hell are you anyway?
Just a neighbour. Come to offer succour and solace in this, your hour of need.
What are you doing here?
What are any of us doing here, Chief?
I mean in this flat. What do you want?
Well, nothing really. Doesn't matter now anyway.
I think you better go.
Yeah, all right. Don't worry, Chief. You'll soon settle down. Partake of the social life. Don't play basketball by any chance, do you? What? Here's an idea. Why don't you come to the residents' meeting tonight? Do you good to get out. I mean, let's face it, all right, pokey little place you got here. I wouldn't stand for it if I were you.
I've heard all I want to hear from you. You better leave. I have fish to find. Frankly, sir, you're a pain in the neck.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Clark Gable, MGM, 1939, gone with a win. Cheerio.
Oh, no.
I'm not staying long, George.
Please. He is my brother. It's got to be done.
You have got the postcard, haven't you?
I've told you, yes.
It's going to be touch and go. I've only found one so far.
Oh, the others will turn up.
Fish just don't turn up. Well, they do, but then they're dead. I can't believe it. Only one left.
Well, how many did you have?
Well, how the hell should I know?
Roy, language. They're your fish. You should know how many you've got.
Have you ever tried counting fish? I've got 5 tanks plus a breeder. You just can't say to fish, stay there a minute while I count you, or you 3 spot grammars over there with the guppies.
Well, what about the annual stock taking?
George, they're fish, not shoes. They don't just sit around in boxes, they breed.
Now, we'll have none of that. Ladies present. Anyway, shoes have been very good to me.
Very good to both of us, George.
Thank you, dear.
Did George tell you about the new shop?
Even the Siamese fighting fish have gone, and the mail's
It's
building
in
up.
Birmingham, actually, near the Bull Ring.
George says all that concrete will help sales.
Very high scuff potential, you see. Your average heel has its life expectancy reduced by up to 30%.
Apart from composition soles, George.
Oh, don't start me off on composition soles.
George has a thing about composition soles.
Death of the industry.
It's a tragedy.
It is indeed.
Nearly all of them dead or lost in transit.
Oh, I see.
Only the sucking loach survived.
Well, you can always get some more once you've settled in.
Yes, you know what they say, plenty more fish in the sea.
Oh, very good, dear. Plenty more fish in the sea. It's very good.
Ha, bloody ha. There are hundreds of fish dead here. Very amusing. Ha, bloody ha.
There's no call for that.
Well,
George, the postcard.
Yes, in a minute, dear. I'm sure Roy's just a bit overwrought, what with the fish and one thing and another.
Well, we can't stay too long.
Yes, we've left the boys on their own, you see. Didn't want to bring them round here, of course. I mean, Martin, he wanted to come, but I thought under the circumstances.
No need to explain.
It's just that at that age, they notice things.
That's all right. I can still come and see them on Sunday as usual.
Ah, well, that's what we wanted to talk to you about.
Postcards, George.
All right, Heather, let me deal with this. You see, Roy, Martin's very fond of you, as you know. And so is Gordon, in his way. Well, we all are. It's just that Heather and I thought it might be a good idea if you didn't come round on Sunday.
I see.
Wait until things have been sorted out.
I have to think about the neighbours.
You know what they're like round our way. And it might not be very good for business.
What wouldn't?
Well, if it got out that I had a brother who was a, you know.
But I'm not. It's a mistake.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And anyway, it doesn't matter to me what people say you are. I shall always think of you as my little brother. It's just that some people in the business world are prejudiced.
And we have to think about the boys. Children can be very cruel. That's why we brought the postcards.
Yes, what we thought was, if you could write this one to Martin and put on it something like, having a smashing time, weather very hot, love Uncle Roy.
It's from Australia.
That's right. That's where we've told him to go.
But what in God's name for?
Roy! Roy, 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 Roy. Look, do you remember when his hamster died? We came down one Sunday morning, there it was, in the bottom of the cage, stiff and cold. Well, we didn't want him to see it like that. He's a very sensitive child. So, Heather flushed it down the toilet and I told him it had gone foraging. So now he remembers it as a lively little fellow, full of fun, running round and round in his wheel. And that's how we would like him to remember you.
What are you talking about?
No, just bear with me a moment. Look, this is a view of Ayers Rock. Now, if you could just put, I'm off to see the wild dingoes tomorrow, love Uncle Roy.
Are you going to tell everyone that I'm dead?
Just for the sake of the children.
Who gives a damn about your children? What about me?
Don't you dare talk about my children like that. It's not our fault you're the way you are.
What's that supposed to mean?
There's no history of it in my family.
Well, there's never been any of it on our side until now.
Do you realise Gordon's got to have blood tests just to be on the safe side?
No, I don't think we've got any worries there. He's got very big feet. Bigger than Martin's.
I had an uncle in the Guards.
Oh, he'll spring up, don't you worry. He's a late developer. Not like,
What?
Well, let's not beat about the bush, we've always known.
Known what?
Oh, come on, Roy. You're a small.
You've never liked me, have you?
No.
The Bermuda Triangle might be a nice idea.
I'm a bit worried about item 6.
You can cope, love.
No question, dear. It's just that I don't want any unpleasantness.
Well, there's no need for any unpleasantness.
No, there never is. It's just the sum of our number. No names, no pack drill.
Jenny.
That's right. Always seems to want everything to be political. Well, it is not the time or place for that sort of thing. Especially with all these new ones coming in.
Oh, I said hello to the couple who just moved into number 31. I invited them to the meeting. Mr. and Mrs. Motacura. I think they're coming.
Hello, Fred. And how South London's aunt at the John Collins. Oh, that laugh sends shivers down my spine. All set then, Fred? What time's the off?
7 o'clock.
Oh, there should be a good turnout with all the new faces. I've put the word about.
They all seem very nice to me. Real friendly lot.
Shoot his face. If I draw again, I'll send a dog on him.
Now, Heather.
Does George know what happened in Bournemouth, you hussy?
Don't you speak on my like that. What do you mean, Bournemouth?
I'm glad they put you in here. Glad.
I don't need you. I never did and I never will. I'm going to fight back. I won't be here long. Wait and see. And when I was 6, I was taller than Gordon. I see you've made some friends already. I'm not staying for this. It's nothing to do with me. Keep an open mind, Chief. You might learn something.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please settle down now, settle down. We've got a lot to get through this evening. Right. Item 1, apologies for absence. There are no apologies for absence. Item 2, minutes from the last meeting. Well, unfortunately, Ginger has the minutes for the last meeting and he is not here.
Did he apologise for his absence?
There are no apologies for absence. Item 3, matters arising from the minutes.
You said Ginger's got the minutes?
Yes.
Well, how can there be matters arising from the minutes?
Howard, this is the agenda.
Can't you take anything seriously?
Right, item 4, non-function of the lift.
Mr. Chairman, I really do feel under the circumstances that we should put aside more mundane matters and move on to item 6, which is, after all, the real reason we're all here.
I'm sorry, Jenny, I am only accepting questions on lifts. Yes, Sid?
I object to these new bastards moving in.
What has that got to do with lifts?
Let's
I don't want any trouble from you, Sid. Yes, the new gentleman on the front.
すみません。私は元倉と申します。これは私の妻です。私たちはヒースロー空港からここへ来るように言われてきました。でも何か行き違いがあったように思います。実は私、デジタルライトメーターの工場を建てに来たんです。何が一体起こってるのか教えていただけませんか。
A good point. Put that in the minutes, Lily.
Tonight's headlines. The Small Liberation Front has claimed responsibility for the recent wave of bombings in the capital. Police have detained a number of suspects and more arrests are expected. The pound had a better day on the foreign exchanges and at the close was only 15 points down on last night's figure.
Item 5, dogs. Is it to do with dogs?
Sort of.
What do you mean, sort of?
I bet some of these new bastards have got...
I am not accepting that. Strike it out of the minutes, Lily. Sidney, why can't you offer the hand of friendship? All of you. Don't you realise what a better world it would be if we could all learn to live in peace and harmony? Get rid of hatred, mistrust, man's inhumanity to man.
That's so right, Fred. Disease is a bad thing, too.
Very true, Howard, very true. Put that in the minutes, Lily.
Under dogs?
Just write it down, dear. Right, item 6. Oh, now this is Jenny's motion. But before we start, I would like you all to think carefully about what I've just said. Jenny?
Adelphi House Residents Association deplores the new government regulations creating thousands more underprivileged citizens. We further oppose the unwarranted moves to foist them on an already overburdened, overcrowded, disadvantaged area. We call on smalls everywhere to protest against this outrage in the strongest possible terms.
Have we got any other points of view? Would somebody like to offer the hand of friendship?
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, you've had your turn, Sidney.
I'm entitled to speak.
Is it to do with the new regulations?
Yes.
It had better be.
Excuse me, Chief, back in a minute.
What I want to know is this. How do these new regulations affect someone like Douglas Bader?
Not Douglas Bader again. Every week we end with Douglas Bader.
What I want to know is he now a small?
No, he is now dead.
Well, if he could have tin legs, why can't I have tin legs?
What has this got to do with my motion?
Nothing.
All I'm saying is, if I had tin legs as well as my own, I could be as tall as I bloody well like. Some of these new bastards are getting off. And every time you come...
Right. Sit down and shut up.
Officer, we were just having the
Shut
meeting.
up. Right. In an orderly fashion, return to your rooms and stay there. We have a warrant to search these premises.
すいません。私、元倉と言いますが。
Shut up!
Is this your room? No. This way, officer. Is it about the fish?
Shut up!
This is.
You, get to your own room.
Okay. I don't know what you want with me, officer. I don't really live here. My things were brought here without my permission. Actually, you might be able to help me. I wish to register a formal complaint. I had a very large collection of tropical fish.
Shut up!
But you don't understand. Only the sucking loach survived. Well, you may not know this, officer, but these loaches have a sort of suction pad. They're algae eaters, you see, and I think he must have stuck himself to a pebble as the water ran out. Does he have to do that?
Shut up!
There's something here, Sarge.
What is it?
Seditious literature. Usual filth. Loads of them.
What?
Little Women by Louisa M. Alcott.
Get him out of here. You midges make me want to throw up. You SLF vermin.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Disgusting.
He was right about one thing. He didn't stay long.
They've got small bodies and small minds. They're all small.
Episode 2 of this 6-part series can be seen next Monday night at 9.
They refuse to grow, you know. They lead small lives in a small world. They should be not seen and not heard. They're the lowest of the low. They refuse to grow, you know. They're better off with their own sort, talking small talk and having small thoughts. They're the lowest of the low. But if you really want to know, they like it down there.